right. Good morning, folks. It's Thursday, July 6th. We have Rex on at 12 p.m. So come back for that. That's our best show of the week. I love it. We're gonna have a lot of fun with Rex. Markets are down sharply this morning because of very strong employment numbers. So you should be used to that drill. They care about interest rates. So let's just take a look at what the indices are doing. So now expectations that rates go higher. Wow, look at that. VIX up 4.5%. Higher rates. Look at that. Bad for regional banks and all the banks. You can see the banks are down on higher rates. And then we got this correction pretty sharp. 1% in QQQ, 0.7% in SPY, ARC almost 2%. But we go back to the chart, and I think as long as we're above that 20 DMA, we're safe. And by the way, look, you can even dip below the 20 DMA and still be safe. So I don't know. I'm still bullish, intermediate to long term. Nothing changes for me today at all. And let's go into the stock pick and look at. It's been just murder. Oh my gosh. All right. It's like sitting near its lows, honestly. That's unbelievable. Okay, so anyway, let's get into our stocks here. All right, it's going to be tough fighting the tape today. So I did my best to choose, I guess, the top 3 or 4 that I think can outperform today. You can see they're all green in pre-market. So LLAP, I spoke to management last night, and I'm feeling really, really good about the odds that Rivada will get the funding they need. A couple analysts here reiterated their price targets of $7 and $12, much, much higher than the current price. I've been hearing through the grapevine what management suggested to me, but it's also out on social media because they also suggested it on their social media that they will be issuing some sort of press release either today or tomorrow about this ITU approval from Rivada. I am hoping, I spoke to management and I told them how important it is to, when you're able to, I don't know if they're able to yet, but when you're able to, please, suggest to the market that you have enough cash to reach profitability without another raise. And that's the point at which stocks, it's still the same game. We've been in this game since the regional banking crisis. It's what's destroyed XXII because there's been an expectation of a raise. And the crazy thing is, look, the lower the price goes, it's not like it becomes cheaper. It just becomes, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and the lower price becomes justified if there's going to be another raise, because then they have to end up, their share price is their currency. So they're going to end up having to dilute much, much, much more. Let's say theoretically, if XXII goes to $1, guess what? They're doing a raise at 50 cents. And then when you do the math on that, it's like all of a sudden, oh, okay, I guess it's worth 50 cents, right? So this is a really kind of bad dynamic in the market right now, where it's the haves and the have-nots when it comes to, do you need money or not? And that's no different for LLAP right now. So LLAP really needs to go out there the moment they can. I'm hoping they're in that moment, okay? I'm hoping they're in that moment. It wasn't really, they understood. I gave the suggestion to management, and they understood it. They appreciated it. They were like, okay, we're going to go back and discuss this. It's a great idea, to go out there when they can and tell the market that they have enough money to reach profitability without a raise. So I'm not sure if they're at that point today, or maybe they want to see the Rivada, financing finish, or maybe they want another quarter under the belt to be able to declare that to the market. But I am on the lookout. I am on the lookout for a press release at some point on LLAP that they have enough money to reach profitability without another raise. If and when that happens, I mean, back up the truck. All right. We've seen this time and time again with so many stocks. LLAP is one example here, and you can see what's that done, just 50 cents to $1.75. And there are many others that have done the same thing once they're able to declare that. So anyway, I'm putting LLAP at the top of my list because I do think that news yesterday, the ITU approval, kind of still got overlooked. We can maybe have a press release today or tomorrow. And in this market environment with this bad tape, I almost feel like this is the safest place to hang out for possible outperformance today. All right, now we have some news on PERI. If you remember, PERI is a stock that does search and display advertising for Google, Microsoft, I'm sorry, for Microsoft. And there's a lot of buzz around this stock when ChatGPT came out with embedded into Bing browser. So PERI gets a direct benefit. The more traffic there is to Bing, the more money they make. So that's why you saw this big move up. A lot of that has to do with ChatGPT and the excitement around Bing. All right. Anyway, this morning they pre-announced. Q2 numbers, and they pre-announced $40 million in adjusted EBITDA guidance, $40 million and $176 million revenue. So I kind of did the math on that 40 million based on what I'm seeing on the average analyst estimates. And this looks like it can translate to an EPS that's going to be 20% higher than what the average estimate for the analysts are. Average analyst estimate for the quarter, 51 cents. With that adjusted EBITDA, they can get to 61 cents. Okay, that's GAAP. Even higher non-GAAP, 76 cents. But anyway, so that's a 20% beat. More importantly, the adjusted EBITDA margins have improved from 21.5% to 22.7%, a 1.2% improvement in the adjusted EBITDA margin on PERI. So here's something, a light here that can potentially buck the market trend this morning. PERI. So let's take a look at the, if they were out there. By the way, they said they're going to get full year guidance on their earnings conference call, which is coming up in some future date, I guess, in a couple weeks or so. But if they were able to give a full year guidance of analyst estimates, then that's worked so well. Our formula of, okay, now you can see the stock do a rapid re-rating of 20% if all the other qualitative commentary is good as well. So here, because it's only the quarter and not the full year, I'm not expecting a full 20% move. So right now what we have is a 4.76% move, and it's right up against the 20 and the 50 DMA resistance. So I took some here for a long-term account because I'm not sure if it's going to break this level. Okay, because we don't have the full year guidance, I don't have the confidence. I can't make the prediction it's going to break the 50 DMA. But if it does break this level, and if that becomes support, then I think you can retest these proximal highs here of about $35 on PERI. Okay, and then you got your gap support here at 31. You always got to be aware of that gap support. We'll talk about that with Wolf in just 1 second. All right, another catalyst today that's looking good. Genie over here was on our radar. I think we had a position. They had good earnings. It's like a DraftKings sentiment that we're riding. So Genie extended the relationship with the NFL for like another 4 or 5 years. You can go look at that story. I don't know the details of the 2027 to 28 season. So 4 or 5 years over there. Now this relationship apparently just started in 2021. So it looks like just after 2 years, extended for another 4 to 5 years. So that's good news, but it's not a new customer, right? So it's moving up on this good news. Extensions are always great, but it would have been much better if it's a new customer. Then I would be much more bullish about maybe a gap and a run. But with a gap here, now you got to be worried about a gap fill, or maybe testing this high here, 630, or proximal high from earlier in the week. So maybe that 630 is going to be support. I kind of feel like if you can get this stock in the low sixes, it'll be a nice deal. Maybe it does a full gap. Let's be aware of 590 to the low sixes. I think that's buyable today, even in this bad tape, because they did extend this relationship with the NFL for 4 or 5 years. So that's kind of good news. I could give it an upward bias. But again, because it's not a new customer, I'm not going to be jumping all over this. I'm not buying this at 643. I'm not really looking for like a gap and run. By the way, what's the 52-week high? It's $6.40. Wow. So it's trying to open right at the 52-week high. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. If it can close over 640 today, then that's bullish for continuation into tomorrow. That'll be nice. Okay, let's see if it can close over 640. Maybe it can make a move to like $7, $8, $10. That's why we have it in our long-term account. Okay, but for today, I'm reserving kind of judgment, being cautious on that for today. All right, then we have MP continuation. Remember, it was MP and Wolf were big plays yesterday. So I don't really have a new catalyst on MP today. I'm just noting the continuation on this China story with MP. I did, however, find out that like 80% of the revenue comes from a Chinese company. So that's a little interesting and a little concerning, right? So the materials are sourced in America. So people are like, okay, I want MP because I want exposure to domestic rare earths because we can't import them to China. But guess what? All of MP's business is? It's exporting these materials to China. Really odd. I didn't look into it much, but I did hear the rebuttal of that basically they've been building out infrastructure to sell in other places, not just China, and that's part of their forward-looking guidance, has to do with diversifying outside of this one client in China. All right, so that's interesting, something to be aware of. And as far as MP goes, 200 DMA, well, 26, very strong resistance at 26, and then 28. Those are your targets to the upside, and to the downside, yesterday's low, and then the gap fill. So 24, 27, and then right here at about 23 or so would be your downside levels on MP. Meta basically hit our target. We came here on the show yesterday, like banged the table right at the open, so that worked out. But I had like a 290 target. We saw the strength. I kept some. We ended up selling our final shares at $299, right below that $300 psychological level, and that worked out. We sold that this morning. So a little over 300. Now it's pulling back. The market's pulling back. Threads, that Twitter app competitor, got released early, got released last night instead of today at 11 a.m. So basically that caused this whole move to be front ramp. If that didn't happen, you might have opened at 294 and made your way to 298, 300 in the first couple hours, but the opposite kind of happened because they released it early. So I don't know. I know it's a great company. People love it, but look at this. I'm done with this stock. RSI 71 on the daily, on the weekly it's 78. I'm done. Not interested in Meta anymore. Okay. If you want to hold some for a long-term account, great. Mega caps, I guess, are good, but it's not my shtick. Okay. Now we got Wolf. Wolf came across a little bit of a derogatory info here, which I got to report, which increases the chances of a gap fill. All right. We talked about two areas. $60 right here would be your support, and then the gap fill, full gap fill. So I still think, although the chances, and I'll go over the issue in a second, although there's increased chance of a gap fill here, I still think it's great news, and I still have my target here at the 200. Oh, no, the 200 DMA is dropping. Touches that candle there, then 70 would have been your top. That's a little problematic. But in any case, what happened? This $2 billion payment they got yesterday, prepayment, deposit, whatever you want to call it, it's actually structured like a loan. Right. So they actually have to pay. This is to the customer that they want to do the 10-year supply agreement to. So this customer is like, yeah, we're giving you $2 billion up front, but really, I guess the MP needs that money to do an infrastructure build out. Turns out they need $5 billion for an infrastructure build out. So now they have $4 billion of this $5 billion that they need. So they were given $2 billion with an interest rate attached to it, and it's a refundable loan, which I don't if milestones aren't met. So it's basically some sort of prepayment. I guess they have to pay interest in the meantime. I guess at some point they stop paying the interest once they deliver the goods. I don't know all the details of that. You can maybe look it up in the SEC filings. So it's not as good as it sounds. It's more like the last deal. So they got $1.25 billion in financing with an option for another $750 million up to $2 billion. Now they got another $2 billion in financing. So you can think of it as, hey, they got $4 billion in non-dilutive financing. It's still great. It's still $4 billion. They didn't have to do an equity raise on that might have diluted the company. I think that's why the stock's been up. As I said last week, when the first $2 billion deal came out, I'm sure there was some expectations. Some participants in the market said, hey, they need to raise X amount of money. They might have to do that with an equity raise. No, they did it with debt, which requires no dilution. And that's why you see the stock going up. So generally speaking, it's good news, but not as good as I thought. Okay. Because this is not like free money. So therefore, now you have a chance to fill the gaps here at $59.23, $60, and the full gap fill, unfortunately. So got to correct ourselves when we miss something. All right, that is Wolf. Air has earnings next week. By the way, I did touch base with Air management to figure out this silicon carbide supply deal that Wolf is doing for this other company in Japan. Is it Japan? I think so. Yeah. Is that going to directly benefit Air? Now, the last deal, they said, yes, it will directly benefit Air. This deal here, because that first $2 billion, I guess the implication or the suggestion based on the PR was that this was for basically silicon carbide chips that Wolf makes and then sells to end customers, maybe EV companies. By the way, it's not Tesla. onsemi has Tesla. So who knows? Maybe they also supply to Tesla. I'm not sure who Wolf supplies to, but like EV car companies. So Wolf would sell these semiconductor chips to EV companies, and that gets burned in and tested by Air. But here you have a silicon carbide wafer that's being sold to another semiconductor company. So they're just supplying the silicon carbide. So it's going out untested to this Japanese company. I confirmed that with Gain, with the CEO of Air. So this does not directly benefit Air. Now, they would have to get that Japanese company as a customer, which sounded like they're not a customer now, is what it sounded like. But he did say that this type of customer would be an ideal target for them, and someone who'd be likely to get Air services at some point. He said Japanese companies really focus on quality, and quality-oriented companies, they really need Air's services, is what Gain was telling me. So that's why we didn't see a sympathy move up in Air yesterday, as we did last week with the other deal that Wolf had, right, which directly benefited them. This one doesn't have a direct benefit, so you didn't see a move up. Now, why did you see a move down? I don't know. Maybe the market started correcting. Now, yesterday, by the way, yesterday after the close, they said earnings are coming up July 13th. So you got to be aware of this binary event. There could also be profit taking ahead of this binary event, people taking risk off the table. You can see support here at the bottom of this candle, 36.53, and then the 50 DMA at like 34.29 and rising, to be aware of. Okay. Oh, look at that. I guess it worked out today. I'm going overtime, and Vegas isn't here yet. I'm not sure if she's going to make it. So good, because I'm like still at the top of my list. All right, so we got Air. All right, and then DRIO had a little bit of news this morning. I don't think it's going to move the needle. It's a full suite customer. Great, very nice. Okay, they need to basically get this big Aetna deal launched, and then they need to go out to the market and say they have enough money to reach profitability. So those are the big inflection points we're waiting on for DRIO, and I don't think this is going to be it over here. And then DWAC, we talked about yesterday, very high risk. You got to have the right size in a stock like DWAC. And $16 is the target over here. Let's see where your supports are. I don't know. I'm not sure I'd play. I don't like this at this. Look, this is all this you can possibly lose now, right? Crap stock that's going to like $1 or $2. But they settled with the SEC. It looks like they're moving on the merger with Trump Social. Truth Social, and that's why you're getting the move up. All right, with that, man, there's a lot of ones for you, a lot of stuff we couldn't cover, but that's fine. Let's head on over to Vegas. Morning, Vegas.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
All right.
What a wild morning.
Market's pulling back on strong jobs data, higher interest rate expectations. Does that impact how you're trading today?
Well, I'm going to keep it light. I'm going to look for some reversals. I mean, obviously, the initial reaction from the market is the drawdown. So, I'm going to watch for the reversals. I think a lot of it could also be doing some commentary here. This could also be some noise in the market, but we'll have to see. I mean, this is not job vacancies. This is advertised job vacancies. And so, this number is boosted by everyone job hopping and having midlife crisis after the pandemic. So, the vacancy rate should drop. But, not many people bother in the survey also, which undermines the value of these results. So we'll wait and see. There was some comments made by Shepardson. He said that the drop in claims last week is noise rather than a sign that the labor market's retightening. And, Monday, June 19th was the Juneteenth holiday, so most state unemployment offices were closed. So let's just see what the market does. I'm going to be watching for some reversals. I don't really have anything in mind to trade. I'm already in some swings. I'm not going to take on some new positions just yet. I am still favoring Riot and Mara for swing trades. MULN had some news that it was up based on a $25 million stock buyback program. MULN, I think you've traded that before.
I've heard of it. Never traded it. Yeah, but yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I thought you.
Wow, that man in 2 days it tripled. Wow.
Yes, it's been incredible. Yeah, very. And can't believe it's up 67%. I mean, that's crazy. And then I'm going to be watching. Meta. We saw broke $300 earlier in the morning, so I'd like to see it break 301 to take a new trade. And, watching Microsoft as well, if it gets over 342. So just going to watch just a couple setups. Don't really have a big watch list right now, just because a lot of these pullbacks, but I will be looking for the reversals. And I am seeing some volume, coming back into Meta. So that looks good to
Oh,
me. They did
Microsoft is up
launch.
this morning. Yeah,
They
cool.
they launched their threads, and you know what? There's no
Yep.
reason for Microsoft not to do well. I mean, Microsoft is a great company, and they have a lot of like technology, and it should catch up to a lot of other stocks. But I think definitely one to watch. And by the way, like my thought process too on Meta. I mean, I think Meta is going to go towards $400.
Wow.
The stock's bottomed since last November, and it's rallied more than 200%, the actual stock.
Yep.
So you know it's made a nice comeback, and it's done really really well. It's up like 223% from those lows back last year. And I think that you know it's a good long term, I think, for anyone's portfolio.
Yeah, long
And
term.
you know, definitely something to watch. I mean, you know, it has had a nice rebound, a lot of advances in artificial intelligence, and it's been a boon for tech stocks, and this tech stock is no exception. And there's also a lot of substance behind Meta. I mean, obviously, besides the AI mania, you know, it is strengthening their business, and it's not the only sentiment for the stock, but it's doing really well. It's got a strong balance sheet as well. So they do keep competition from platforms like TikTok at bay with their Reels short form video feature. So it's definitely a good reason to look at Meta more closely if no one's in Meta and you like something for your portfolio. Definitely take a look at Meta and see what's going on. But I think bottom line is there's more upside for Meta. It is going to be a little bit bumpy on the way up, but I think that we'll see some more volatility in some big tech stocks. But I think longer term we'll see some smooth rides to the upside. So I think we'll see some good, nice action here.
I love the analysis. Awesome analysis. I just want to let you know one of your stocks, I think you have it, PERI. PERI pre-announced earnings this morning, and I went through the fundamental numbers on it. Really good pre-announcement. Implied EPS 20% above analyst estimates for Q2. And you might want to look at that. Are you still in it?
Yeah, I still like Perion Network.
Yeah.
I don't have any Perion right now, but I do like the Perion Network. It's a great stock,
Cool.
great company. It's a high risk reward kind of a stock as well, and it is to me a growth stock. So one to definitely watch for longer term. It has very strong advertising platform as well, which should boost their profits as well along the way. So, you know, I'm going to keep my focus also on the travel stocks. I mean, I love all the cruise lines, love them all. And I love all the Bitcoin plays like Mara and Riot making those 52-week highs. So seeing some strength in that sector and, you know, really looking for those longer term setups. So I don't have to babysit these trades.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna have to look at MULN. I mean, they're saying they have like 230 million cash, and their market cap is 41 million. I don't know what's going on there. I'll research that a little bit. Good stuff today. Good luck, Vegas.
Yeah, good luck, everyone. Have a great trading day, and we'll see you guys
12
tomorrow.
If you have time, join us with the Rexman Trades. He does the Fibonacci analysis, the technical analysis. It's gonna be fun at 12 p.m. today.
All right. See you guys later. Have a great day.
Take care. Yep. Bye-bye.